Hi, everyone. So we're embarking on a new sefer, and I hope you guys will come along with me. This sefer is called Dear God, and it's by Rebbe Nachman of Breslov. And it does talk about, our relationship with him, but more than that, our conversation to him, which a lot of us, I think, at times, especially given the time that we live in, sometimes we find it very difficult to speak to Hashem, even though it should be the easiest thing. Sometimes I think, at least myself, sometimes I feel very inadequate in my words, and I feel sometimes I'm lacking. And for sure, in those times, certainly I miss the fact that we do not have a Beit HaMikdash. It's very difficult in the times that we live in to get that clarity, and getting the clarity requires that we're constantly speaking to Hashem. But, sometimes there's all these little obstacles that we ourselves are putting in the way. And hopefully the sefer will help us just to kind of simplify it and just speak to Hashem one-on-one, anytime, anywhere, in all things, and just bring him along. And the sefer is really great because aside from this introduction, which is probably the longest part, and it's only like 2 or 3 pages long, it's broken down, and it's literally very short snippets of thought, and so hopefully we should get through this very quickly, and it should not consume too much of our time in studying the sefer, which I think is wonderful because many of us are very busy, and we have a lot of things to do. But this is great to just pop in and get a little hizuk for that day, and to kind of grow in your avodat Hashem and in your conversation with Him. So we're going to start out, and it's the introduction. It says, Rebbe Nachman of Breslov, famous progeny of the Baal Shem Tov, was one of the greatest spiritual masters of all times. He was sent to the world 2 centuries ago to serve as a guide for our generations in the last moments of exile. He predicted in the years preceding the arrival of Mashiach there would be havoc wreaked by a deluge of heresy and confusion. He prescribed remedies that will allow us to stand firm and to preserve our most authentic spiritual identity. He opened the doors of hope for the exhausted and the lost, showing them with the most beautiful nuances of his holy poetry the points on which they should lay emphasis in their efforts. With the authority of a seer, he tells us that it is the simple people who recite Psalms who will escape the deluge and will crown the Redeemer. A pure heart, joy, and simplicity will therefore be the essential values to be preserved at any price. Some are fortunate enough to inherit these attributes. Others have lost them or have never known them. To preserve them or acquire them or even to find them again, we need a certain key, for with the passage of time, these values will be abandoned increasingly. What will this key be? Rebbe Nachman reveals to us, talk to God. Engage with Him in a personal dialogue. Pour out your heart in front of Him, as you would do with your most precious friend. This will be the serene weapon that will allow the Mashiach to conquer the world without firing a single bullet shot. It is a very simple means, accessible to all human beings, and it is this that will help us to traverse the trail of the flood while maintaining the precious spark kept alive within us. On September 1802, Rebbe Nachman was 30 years old and would live for another 8 years. Students, including eminent Kabbalists, already surrounded him. After a quest of many years, Rabbi Natan of Nimirov arrived at the door of his future teacher, Rebbe Nachman, discovered in him the quality of an exceptional disciple. It was through him that the master work was to survive and to spread throughout the world. Placing his hand on his disciple's shoulders, he led him into the forest and, conversing with him, revealed the secrets of Hasidic meditation. This teaching is transcribed in Likutei Maharan 152. To submit our ego and merge into the unity of God, we can only do that by talking to Him. In a precise place and at a given hour, the time is night, the place a solitary path. When you seclude yourself there and talking to God, you cleanse your heart, you completely incorporate yourself and are immersed into the infinite. For God is absolute, but the world is relative. By nullifying ourselves to Him, we are included into His unity. On hearing these words, Rabbi Natan leapt up and began to run in the forest. I will tell the world. I will go everywhere and I will say, what do they think? Rabbi Nachman, however, caught up with him and said, you will not succeed in this way. He laid out a program of studies for him, combining both laws and Kabbalah, and even though Rabbi Natan was already erudite, he then initiated him into his message. While he was never officially appointed successor, it was Rabbi Natan who spread the teachings of Breslov throughout the world, writing, talking, traveling, and even printing books himself in his own home. Thanks to such devotion, such a spirit of sacrifice for a noble cause, a living treasure of thought and precious solutions has remained to this day. To seclude yourself in order to pour out your heart to God is of supreme value, the highest of all levels. In many other passages, our rabbi clearly refers to this practice as the most important, indeed the only practice that can allow us to attain our ideal, to remain truly faithful to our Maker. It is the supreme key. Let us sum up the essential points and trace a concise plan that will allow the reader to comprehend our approach, and if he so wishes, to take full advantage of it. Why and how should we meditate? The purpose to turn our Creator and establish with Him a personal relationship, the ultimate purpose being the spiritual union. This means to talk to Him regularly every day in our native language in a friendly manner, as sincere and spontaneous and simple as possible. Developing these 2 points will show the tremendous effects that we can obtain merely by deciding to talk to our Father every day. With certainty, the meditation is a leap forward towards healing. Whether the result is a resounding success or appears more modest, we will have done something to solve our problems. After a few attempts, we will begin to discover our inner selves. Our inner being will emerge with the illumination of the divine presence. We will explore the secrets of our souls, astonished to discover hidden splendors that await a call to be revealed. At the same time, we will reveal the complex patterns of our feelings, detecting unsuspected sources of errors. Lucid and unafraid, we will redouble our fervent efforts and seek God's strength and protection. Soon we will find ourselves loving these moments of confiding and searching, and will wonder how we could have lived for so many years without such richness. In the hills of the Ukraine 2 centuries ago, a fire was kindled that continues to burn, and it will glow brightly until the arrival of Mashiach. This flame warms our heart. Neither cold technology nor empty modernity will be able to extinguish it. The message is universal and contemporary. It contains a timeless and worldwide dynamic. The divine point that it conveys goes beyond the idea of sect. It is for anyone who cares to listen. Those who devote themselves to this are called Hasidism. This does not exclude our other degrees of perception. Rabbi Nachman speaks to us here and now through his devoted student who in a few thousand impassioned pages takes up and develops the rabbi's words. We have collected a few drops in this ocean of wisdom to be offered in the pages of this book to all our brothers and sisters who seek a key. Follow this ray of light, whatever happens to you meanwhile, and you will discover the treasure that you have come to seek in this world, and which you bear within you. Be confident, courageous, and patient. Confident despite the doubts and criticism. Courageous despite the obstacles and pitfalls of our age. Patient to traverse dark periods and to attain success. Faithful like the grower who has planted his seeds and watches over them until the spring. It's beautiful, beautiful words. That's the introduction. And that's going to be it for today. We're going to start off, Besrat Hashem, with the first chapter. But again, this is a topic that many people sometimes struggle with, and it is something that needs practice. And I think that this sefer is really good because it just gives you a very palatable and it's very easy to just consume and to just kind of meditate daily on what's being said here. But certainly anyone who has already gone on this path of speaking to Hashem daily, and you know, this is becoming like a new an awakening of this. It's not new because I don't want to say it's new. This is something that many of our great teachers before us have always known, but it's something that's kind of awakening, and it's a movement that's kind of happening, and for good reason. A lot of us, we do lack clarity in such a world. So this kind of helps us if you're on a beginner, even if you're on an advanced level. This is certainly great to learn keys, especially from a master like Rebbe Nachman, who was just so brilliant in tapping in to those deepest, darkest places that I think many of us go to sometimes. So I hope that you will join me in reading the Sefer. And again, I look forward to growing with all of you and learning as always. And that's it for today. Hopefully we'll all be together again soon, B'ezrat Hashem.